I'm here at Housing Technology 2023 because I'm really interested to understand where housing associations stand as regards the next big thing, which I see as the energy transition.
How are housing associations shifting focus to energy transition?
I've been here before to Housing Technology, and the subjects have always been about IT and change and software. And while of course that is hugely significant, really I think the conversation should be evolving to how we handle fossil fuel to electricity or energy efficiency, how we change the way we live, how the built environment is operating, how sensors are used, how data is gathered. And of course, I know you're talking about data, but I'm very interested in talking about the energy transition attached to that.
Which new technologies are now viable for housing associations?
What I think we can see ahead of us is, first of all, is the need to transition. And there are technologies today, in fact, there are technologies that have been used for the last 15 years by people and pioneered, and of course the cost is coming down for many of them, whether that's rooftop solar, whether that's batteries, whether that's sensor technologies. There's a lot, whether it's even district heating. There's a lot of solutions here, and I think that we will see many more of those over the next 5, 10, 15 years for sure. There are definitely some use cases today that perhaps housing associations could look to. There are definitely house builders who are turning attention to aggregating the power from their rooftops and negotiating back to the grid. All right? There are other contractors who today are installing rooftop solar. That's not new, it's been around for the last 5 years. Some individuals have been putting it in their back gardens. So rooftop solar, much more efficient than it was 5, 10 years ago, and batteries, and the ability therefore to shift when you sell your electricity back to the grid. All these technologies are here today. So these use cases do exist, but we're definitely in the first round of developing those. I don't think there is time to wait. That's the thing. We can always wait till another 10 years and then adopt. But actually, you know what, there's such obvious savings and economic benefits to be gained that I would have thought that in itself is enough to attract a chief executive of a housing association.
How crucial is investor funding for housing infrastructure?
And I just think to myself, from the position of where I stand, that there's a wall of money available to housing associations, and that wall of money is relatively low cost, and probably lower cost than housing associations' cost of capital. And those investors are very happy to fund long-term infrastructure. And I think that's really the direction of discussion I'd love to be engaging in with a number of housing associations and those around them. If I was sitting in front of a housing association chief executive today, I would be really keen to be asking them what are they doing with their assets to make them more efficient, to transition them to carbon neutral, carbon zero, or even energy generation. It is entirely possible for a housing association to be a trader of energy back into the grid. I'd like to know if a housing association is even thinking about these things today.
What does the future look like in housing technology?
I think the path for a housing association, as it is for all of us, is actually quite hard to map out from where we are. And so, like all of us, we just need to take one step at a time. But I think these steps include exploring technologies, and some of these technologies are very readily available. Rooftop solar has been around. Batteries. Well, battery technology is improving year on year. Is now the right time to be investing in batteries for a home? Hard to tell. Most home batteries are smaller than car batteries. Probably not the best time, but probably coming. So there's a technology exploration path, but there are some houses and some house builders that are already carbon neutral. And more importantly, there are some even directing themselves to be selling energy back to the grid. So for me, there's quite an interesting path for housing associations to pursue. They are, after all, substantial real estate owners. They have acres of roofs. They have the ability to procure at scale. And they have the ability, therefore, because of their residents, to be very good off-takers for an energy supplier. So they have a number of very exciting and usable assets. If you think about that as how would you harness the counterparties of money and assets to help support them.
What other benefits are there for housing adopting new energy technology?
I've talked about the economic side of it, but actually beyond all of this, there is the enormous human, social, ESG, whatever you want to call it, we are stewards of our planet for our lifetimes. In my case, I'm no longer 25. I think it's about time all of us got on with it.